Okay, we are recording now. Cool. All right. So we're going to fill that data in on this page. I want you to look over to the left over here in your drop-down box, your side menu. What color did that change to? Red means it's missing data and blue means it's good, right? Okay. So we're going to hit our next button and go to the next page. We were dispatched. Dispatch reason was chest pain, okay? On the one I'm looking at. Our dispatch priority was going to be emergent. EMD performed, no. All right, let me go to the next page. Everybody looking? How many options of trucks do you have to choose from? Just one, right? Pretty simple. Med one, I was a BLS ground transport unit. And was I the first ambulance on the scene? Absolutely. You see where my validation score is already? It's going to go down in just a second. Watch. Type of service requested. 911 scene response, okay? Response mode to the scene. We're going to go emergent, immediate, non-delayed. All right, all that data is filled in. Everybody kind of getting the picture of where the next button is now? Okay. How many number of patients were at our scene? With the PCRs we're letting you use to get an idea how to do it, it's always going to be a single patient, okay? Unit disposition, we made contact with our patient. You see all that red pop up then? Lord, it changed. Patient was evaluated and care provided. So we're always going to hit that button. What was our crew disposition? We initiated and continued primary care. There's a whole lot of options in these drop-down menus. You guys probably already know, because there's a whole lot of ways we do things out in the street, right? But we're just kind of sticking to the basics with this and going off the PCR that we're giving you guys as a sample to use, okay? Transport disposition. We transported the patient by this EMS crew, this crew only. Final patient activity. Acuity, I'm sorry, can't even read now. Final patient acuity. And what level of care did we provide to this patient? Remember, we were BLS, right, initially? So BLS provision of care. Here's where it gets fun. You ready for this one? Make up an address. Incident type was going to be an apartment at 123 Donald Duck Way. Put in the city. Now, a PCR does have an address on it. You're more than welcome to use that one if you want to, okay? I just like playing a little bit with stuff. Miscellaneous scene information. I'll tell you about this type of scene delay. You don't have to use it doing these, but when you get out in the real world and you start get to your EMT level and start doing these, it's always good to put a reason for delay on scene. Could be extrication, could be law enforcement needed, whatever that may be that delayed you on scene with that patient. Y'all see how far my validation score went down? It's terrible. Now we get to the fun part. Times. Times have got to be in sequential order. Okay. They got to be in order of how they were ran. If you try to put times differently, it's going to throw errors everywhere. So this call started at 9:42 in the morning. Dispatch was notified. '42. Unit went en route at 9:42 according to that PCR I'm using. All right. Unit arrived on scene. It's going to be 9:50. So arrived at the patient. Even in real life, sometimes this time is going to be guesstimated. Okay. So how long did it take us to get from our ambulance till we actually made it to bedside or side with the patient, right? So I'm a little bit older than some people, and I'm gonna put in there, it took me a long time to get there. Oh, took me all 2 minutes to get there. This next box isn't needed unless we're transferring patient care to another EMS agency. Okay, so we don't need to put nothing there unless we transfer our patient to a helicopter or to another ambulance service because our truck broke down or whatever the case may be. Then we're gonna put in what time the unit left the scene of the call. Remember, we talked about all these times when we were talking about legal and documentation and that stuff? These times are really important that you track them appropriately. Dispatch is going to track the majority of these for you and put them in your PCR. Okay. We're just having to do it manually today because that's just what it is. All right. Patient arrived at the hospital. We transferred the patient to the hospital. You guys ever heard of wall times yet? Y'all ever heard that statement? That's the time we get to the hospital and they put us on the wall and say, wait, we'll find a room for you in a little bit. It is very important to help us track wall times that you punch this next button as soon as you turn over care of your patient to the hospital. Okay. And that's going to be transfer of patient care at destination. It was a good day in the ER, so we didn't stay there too long today. We turned our care over at 10:45. And what time did your unit go back into service? Okay. Everybody understand how the times have to be in line with each other? All right. Next. Now, if you look, my whole incident tab now turned blue, right? So it's all done and out of the way. Patient info. Because we don't want to give out real patient information, you can make up a name here, and I put John Smith. I'm gonna say John Smith was born on 5/5/1935. Uh-oh, I didn't put that, did I? So he's gonna be 91 years old. You can change whatever unit of measurement that you're using, but he's 91. He's a male, and we're gonna say he is Native Hawaiian. And then we're gonna move on to the next one. Patient address. If we're picking this guy up from home, we can hit patient address, same as instant address, right? See that tab up there? Make it easy for yourself. Just hit that tab. Not gonna worry about nothing on the guardian and relative page. Now you see patient information block is blue, right? That means it's complete. All right. Infectious disease related. This part was added on at the onset of COVID, so it's going to be in everything we do now. But prior to symptom onset, has the patient had close contact with someone with similar symptoms? No. Did the patient travel outside of their community? No. Those are done, right? All right. This is about medical history for this patient. Um, I could read that whole thing and do it, but I'm not. So I'm gonna put in there. This guy has no medical history, which I click on this little dot right here. See it? I go boom, and none reported. Here I get down to this box where they want to know if alcohol or drugs was an indicator or involved in this person's illness or injury. Okay, I'm going to go patient administered alcohol and drugs. Thinking about my retirement again. And is the patient possibly pregnant or not? All right, now we're asking about medications. This patient we're dealing with now is not going to have any medicines, but if they did, you could look them up um, by typing in some of the letters and pull it up. If they didn't have medicines, go to this circle here and click none reported. Okay. And allergies. This software that we're going through now, this estate software, actually splits allergies up between medicine allergies and environmental allergies, right? So we know the difference. So we're going to say this guy has no allergies, NKDA. Don't really care about immunizations. All right. So now we get into meat and potatoes of our assessment of this patient. So, were there any barriers to us providing care? And we're going to say no, there were not any. So it's going to be not needed, none noted. We're going to talk about our patient complaint now. This is going to be a free text field. It's chief complaints. What we want to know, his complaint is chest pain. Duration of the complaint was 365 days. Everybody agree with that? What was his primary symptom? Nausea, respiratory, somewhere in there, shortness of breath. Okay, then we're going to go down and go boom, boom, next. What was our impression of the patient? Do we think they were having a cardiac event? Do we think it's respiratory? What are we actually treating in this patient? Now, I'm just going to put nausea for this, not to go through all that list. Provider's secondary impression. What do I think else is going on with him? Vomiting. Now I'm deciding, based on my assessment, how critical is this patient? I'm going to say that they're a yellow. You must have used this software before in Roswell, did you? Yeah, it's aggravating, but y'all good? We still going through it? Y'all good? Okay. Savannah, y'all good? Okay. I know it's a lot. That's why I'm trying to go
I just
through it.
I went
Uh-huh.
through NTB class, so I'm just helping some of them out that got a little lost.
Absolutely. Have no problem with that. All right, then we get down to these three buttons. If I check anything other than no on these three buttons, it's going to open up a bunch of tabs to fill out information, right? If it's a cardiac arrest, it's going to open up a bunch of stuff we got to fill out. So for this particular PCR I'm using, the correct answer for these is no. And then we got to get the vital signs, okay? Everybody see where I'm looking at now with vitals. I don't see 950 and 955. All right, so I'm gonna do my set of vitals. I want a full set of vitals for this unit. And I'm gonna do it today. And I'm gonna take this set of vitals at 9:55. Was this set of vitals obtained by this crew? Yes, they were. Cardiac rhythm, not worried about. Not worried about. Blood pressure. How did we take our blood pressure? Was it an automated cuff or was it a manual cuff? We're gonna choose automatic. And I'm gonna put my blood pressures in that I got. What was my heart rate? What was my pulse rate? According to this PCR, it was initially 118. How did I get that heart rate? I palpated it. Pulse oximetry on this patient was 98%. Pulse rhythm was regular. Respiratory rate was 18. Hey, here's a pop test question for you. Are you ready? True or false? True is fingers up, false fingers down. The normal breathing rate for an adult is 12 to 20 times a minute.
True.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good job. So we're going to say this guy was breathing at 25 times a minute. Is that fast or slow? All right. You're not going to have entitled CO2 because you're a basic truck. Not going to have carbon monoxide monitoring, but you are going to have a blood sugar level. So we're going to say this blood sugar level was 111 when we checked it, and it's going to be normal. Then at least one GCS has to be done on every patient. And that's a Glasgow coma scale. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later, and it's going to be without interventions. It's legit. What was our patient's level of consciousness? And the PCR that I'm referencing, he's alert. His pain scale is a 3. RTS is 12. And then I'm going to hit OK. Am I blue all the way down now? What am I missing right here? A narrative statement. Okay. All right. You guys know what I'm talking about when I say narrative statement? A little bit. All right. This is going to be the narrative that is written with this PCR. What we want you to do is read that narrative, review that narrative, but put it in your own words. Does that make sense? This is the part of the call that's going to be pulled by lawyers and doctors and all them other people. So I know you can't write them in Georgia yet as EMRs, but this will give you a good opportunity to practice documentation. Okay. So I'm gonna put in there. I need a nap. That way, when I type in that box, it says, hey, there's something there, so it's good. So it turned blue, right? We want to see you guys do your very best on the narrative, not just I need a nap, but that's what I'm putting in there for the sake of time. And then we get to our transport decision. Transport info. Number of patients we transported in this unit. By show of fingers, how many patients we got? Bingo, so we make it a 1. How patient was moved to the ambulance? We moved him on our stretcher. Transport mode. Did I take him to the hospital lights and siren or non-lights and siren? Patient position during transport. How was our patient positioned on the stretcher? We're going to say he was semi-Fowlers, which is basically sitting up, kind of laid back just a little bit like you're sitting in your lazy boy at home. EMS transport method. It's going to be ground ambulance. Okay. Hit the next button. Then we're going to destination information. Where we took the hospital or where we took the patient to, what hospital or what facility or what. And you look in this list, there's all kind of stuff. There's nursing homes, healthcare facilities, the ACE house, which is a personal care home, I guess. We're going to type in there what we want. We want WellStar, MCG Health. Why did we choose to go to this hospital? Is the next blank we got to fill out. And we're going to say because it was the patient's choice or whatever the right answer would be. Hospital capability, we're going to choose hospital general. And hit next. It's going to automatically populate our address. And then this question is, do we have any hospital pre-alerts? So what that means is when you guys get out and start in the field and that kind of stuff, if we identify a certain type of heart attack out in the 911 system in the street or even on GT, IFT, we're going to call it a STEMI and we're going to notify the hospital before we get there so they can get the STEMI team in place to deal with the patient's heart attack. That's what pre-arrival is about. Okay. Make sense? So we're going to pick no here and there. All right. Somebody tell me what my score is now. What's my validation score? You can do it with your fingers.
98.
All right. So the state says anything 98 and above means you have completed this PCR, right? Absolutely. 98 or above. Now, can you tell me what's missing that'll get me to 100?
The mileage.
Absolutely. It's red over here, right? That means that's what's missing. So I'm going to go 0.00, 0.01. What is my validation score now?
100.
100. So anything between 98 and 100 is acceptable. Okay. Also, if you have trouble and you can't figure out what's going on, this validation button is also a click button. So if you can't figure out what's going wrong and where it's at, click on that and it'll give you a list of things. Okay. All right. That is walking through the whole system. You guys have any questions for me? I know it's a lot right up front, but if you get yourself on that first one, get yourself in the mode of trying to figure out every piece of it, you'll be okay. All right. You also can email me or text me or whatever, and I'll try to help you with it too, but don't stress out. If you get in there and starts making you mad, close it down for a minute, walk away, go smoke a cigarette like, people do, and then come back. Okay. All right. Where do you find this here? Okay, here goes the test question. There's three. First one is for Roswell. Where do you find the PCRs you can use?
JBL Learning Site Genesis.
JBL Learning Site under the Genesis tab, right? Augusta, this one's for you. You're gonna have to yell because obviously I can't see y'all. Is there a link on the JB Learning site to get to the state site? Okay. Savannah, this is the hardest question of all. Are you ready?
No.
What's the magic number you have to be above on validation?
98.
Huh?
You
What?
said oh my goodness.
What'd you say?
98?
Absolutely. Anything above 98, 98 and above counts. All right, y'all. Thank you for letting me interrupt your day to travel down the path of headache with the PCR system, but just something we got to get done. Okay. All right, y'all take 5 minutes, go stretch your legs, get all this out of your head, and I'm gonna plug Jackie back up and see where y'all go from there. Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Chris,
Yeah.
possible, if you could get that screen recording?
Yeah, I'll try to send it out to everybody. I might put it in the JB classroom if I can do that or something, but I'll get it to y'all. Okay. Good deal.